Senator Blumenthal.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I want to welcome you to the committee,
Thank you.
Your Honor, and welcome your family as well, a very supportive and accomplished family, and say that among the qualities that you bring to this job, obviously your brilliance, your service as a judge are tremendously important, but I think the lesson today is that character counts in restoring the integrity and credibility of the leadership of the Department of Justice. I think that the character that you've demonstrated throughout your career are going to be most important. Your resilience as well as your brilliance. You've been tested by adversity, and the kind of values that you exemplified beginning when I think both of us served as prosecutors in the Department of Justice and first met. So I look forward to your inspiring more young attorneys to join the ranks of law enforcement and celebrate the accomplishments of those 115,000 professionals who every day help keep us safe. I welcome your commitment to combating violent extremism. I've supported and I'm introducing a 9/11 Commission bill. But I want to turn to an area of violence that you raised, which is hate crimes. The growing incidence of hate crimes, especially against now certain groups, Asian Americans, I think is extraordinarily alarming. I've introduced a measure called the No Hate Act. Jabara Higher No Hate Act would reform the penalties, but also increase reporting. As you know, many of these crimes are underreported. I'd like your commitment that you will support such a measure and enforcement of the existing penalties against hate crimes.
Well, couldn't have any opposition from me in that matter, Senator. Hate crimes tear at the fabric of our society, make our citizens worried about walking on the street and exercising even their most normal rights. The role of the Civil Rights Division is to prosecute those cases vigorously, and I can assure you that it will if I'm confirmed.
Thank you. On gun violence, you've been asked a few questions by Senator Lee. 3 years ago this month, Parkland occurred. Parkland, Sandy Hook, other places like Las Vegas have become shorthand for massacres that are true tragedies and also preventable by common sense steps such as President Biden has supported and I have helped to lead in the Congress. Universal background checks, safe storage measures, Ethan's Law, closing the Charleston loophole, and of course, emergency risk protection orders. Senator Graham and I have worked together on a measure that I'm hoping we will reintroduce. One of your predecessors, William Barr, said about emergency risk protection orders, quote, "This is the single most important thing I think we can do in gun control area to stop these massacres from happening in the first place," end quote. William Barr and I didn't agree on a lot, but I think I'm of the opinion that it is an important step to take. Would you support these kinds of common sense steps?
Yeah, I don't know the specifics of all of them. Certainly with respect to emergency risk orders, when somebody is acting out in a way that suggests that they're going to use violence against another human being, we have to be very careful that they don't get a weapon in their hands. I don't know the specifics of how the legislation would do that, but I do think that, yes.
Well, I welcome your support to that extent.
I don't mean to be non-supportive, but unless I know the specifics, it's very hard for me to make a calculation.
I understand, and you're doing an excellent job of navigating your way through the requests for specific commitments. And by the way, I understand sometimes a non-answer is the right way for you to go in this position.
Thank you, Senator.
Let me say, also, I hope you'll consider executive orders. I understand that President Biden may have some under consideration, for example, closing the Charleston loophole, redefining the nature of a firearm to prevent ghost guns from populating the world, and other steps. And I hope you will consider using the existing authority through ATF and other agencies to take such action. I want to ask you about two areas that are of importance, I think, although they may not have reached a lot of public visibility. As you may be aware, the survivors of the 9/11 tragedy have filed a lawsuit pursuant to the Justice Against Sponsors of Terror Act, JASTA. Senator Cornyn and I were strong advocates of JASTA. They have asked for information from the FBI in connection with that lawsuit. They've been denied that information under the state secrets privilege. In my view, there is no justification for failing to provide that information. I hope that you will consider taking prompt action to release it. I know that you can't necessarily address it now, but I wrote to the Department of Justice last week, not to yourself, but to your predecessor, and I hope that you will take that letter as a matter of priority.
If I'm lucky enough to be confirmed, I will certainly get the letter, and I will give it my attention. Yes, I will.
And similarly, the Department of Justice Inspector General reportedly opened an investigation in September 2018 of the FBI's potential mishandling of the investigation into Larry Nassar's sexual abuse. I'm sure you recall his prosecution. There was an Inspector General report that goes into the FBI's possible delay and malfeasance. That report is finished, we're told. I hope that it will be published promptly in the interest of the transparency value that you outlined so well.
Well, I will definitely consult with the Inspector General, and I do believe in making those reports public to the extent permissible within the law. Yeah.
Thank you. And finally, you may be aware that a number of my former colleagues, attorneys general, have taken action against Exxon and other oil companies to hold them accountable for misleading and defrauding the public about climate change for decades. Nothing could be so important as the United States Department of Justice similarly taking action against gas and oil companies for lying to the American public about the devastating effects of these products on climate change. I hope you'll consider taking action in that regard.
Well, I guess from the way you began, it feels like there's probably pending litigation on this matter already, so it's something I really should not be commenting on.
Thank you very much, Judge.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator Blumenthal.